My name is Iris Archer, and I am 33 years old. 2 weeks ago, my mother rang my doorbell, first time in 9 years. She stood on my porch in a beige cardigan with a carry-on suitcase and a folded piece of paper. The paper was not an apology. It was a list, handwritten, blue ink, bullet points. Every bullet had a dollar sign, total $925,000. She did not say she was sorry. She did not ask about her grandchildren. She said, "We need to talk about the family's future." But here is what my mother did not know. I had been keeping a list of my own for 9 years. Every birthday card she returned, every voicemail she ignored, every text message my sister sent about me behind my back. 29 items, all labeled, all dated, all filed in a navy blue binder that I kept in the bottom drawer of my desk. She brought a list of what she wanted. I brought a list of what she did. Before we get into this, if you are new here, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. And while you are at it, drop a comment telling me where you are watching from and what time it is where you are. I love reading those. Let me take you back to the summer I turned 24. The summer my family told me I was no longer one of them. Millfield, Ohio. Population 2,000 and change. One Baptist church. One barber shop. One diner where every booth smelled like coffee and bacon grease no matter what time you walked in. That was my town. My whole world until I was 18. My father, Kenneth, worked at the lumber yard on Route 7 for 31 years. Same shift, same boots, same quiet nod when he came through the door at 5:42 every evening. My mother, Diane, ran the household and the church women's committee with equal precision. She organized the Easter brunch. She coordinated the prayer chain. She decided who brought what to every potluck, and nobody argued. My sister Paige was 4 years younger and everything I was not. Loud, confident, the kind of girl who got voted homecoming queen and acted surprised. Mom adored her. Dad called her sunshine. I was the quiet one, the one who did the dishes without being asked and scored perfect on every math test and never got a party for either. I do not say this with bitterness. I say it because you need to understand the math. In our family, love was a budget, and Paige was the line item that always got funded first. When I was 18, I got a scholarship to Ohio State, full ride. I was the first Archer to go to college. Mom packed my suitcase and slipped a card inside, the kind with flowers on the front and her handwriting on the back. "Come home soon. You belong here." I kept that card for 15 years. It is still in my desk drawer, right next to the navy binder. The card was the last kind thing she ever wrote me. I met Marcus Ellison in advanced statistics spring semester of my junior year. He sat 2 rows ahead of me and solved regression problems like he was reading a grocery list. Calm, methodical, never rushed. He was an engineering major, computer science minor on a partial scholarship from Cleveland. His mother, Cora, was a retired school librarian. His father, white from the suburbs, left when Marcus was 4. Cora raised him alone. She worked 2 jobs until Marcus turned 16, and then she worked 1 job and volunteered at 3. Marcus was biracial. He had his mother's eyes and his father's jawline, and this way of listening that made you feel like everything you said actually mattered. Our first date was at a taco truck near campus. He paid with crumpled singles. I paid with quarters. We split a horchata and talked until the truck closed. He told me he wanted to build something. He did not know what yet, but something that solved a real problem. I told him I wanted a job where the numbers meant something. He said then we are in the right field. We dated for 3 years before he proposed. 3 quiet, steady, unremarkable years. He met my parents twice. The first time Mom smiled too wide and called him Michael instead of Marcus. The second time she called him Marcus, but did not look at him when she said it. Both times, Dad shook his hand and said almost nothing. I told myself it was nerves. Small-town people. They just needed time. Paige was the honest one. At Thanksgiving, she leaned over and whispered, "He is nice, But Mom is never going to be okay with this. You know that, right? I did not know that. Not yet. Marcus proposed on a Tuesday. No ring at first, just a conversation at our kitchen table in our tiny apartment near campus. He said, I want to spend my life with you. I want to build something with you. Will you let me? I said, yes. Before he finished the sentence, I called home that night. Mom picked up on the third ring. I told her the line went quiet for 7 seconds. I counted. You need to think about what this means for this family, Iris. Not congratulations. Not tell me about the ring. A warning. Dad got on the extension. He cleared his throat twice and said nothing. 2 days later, Paige texted. Mom has been crying since you called. Are you happy now? I was actually for the first time in years, but I did not reply that. 2 weeks after the call, a letter arrived. Not an email, not a text, a letter, handwritten. Diane Archer's cursive on cream-colored stationery. She wrote 4 paragraphs. The last one said, if you go through with this, you are choosing him over your family. We cannot support this. We will not attend. And if you walk down that aisle, do not expect to walk back through our door. He is not one of us, Iris. He never will be. That was the line. She drew it in blue ink on cream stationery, and she expected me to stand on her side of it. I read the letter 3 times, folded it, put it in a manila folder. I did not know why I kept it. Something in me, the part that files receipts and labels bank statements, told me to hold on to it. I held on. We got married at the Multnomah County Courthouse on a Saturday in June. 12 guests, all friends, all Marcus's side. His mother, Cora, flew in from Cleveland with a garment bag and a Tupperware of pound cake. She pinned a silk flower to my dress and held both my hands and said, Welcome to the family, baby. No father walked me down the aisle. There was no aisle. There was a hallway with fluorescent lights and a judge who pronounced our names wrong and a reception at a Thai restaurant where we pushed 4 tables together and Marcus's college roommate gave a toast that made everyone laugh so hard Cora spilled her water. My dress cost $160 from a consignment shop on Hawthorne. White, simple, fit perfectly. Marcus wore a navy suit he bought on clearance. We looked like 2 people who had just done the most important thing of our lives on a budget because we had. That night in our apartment, I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the bouquet, grocery store roses, $6. And my hands shook, not from doubt, from grief. I had just gotten married, and the 2 people who raised me did not care enough to watch. 1 week later, I mailed a card to Millfield. Inside our wedding photo, Marcus and me on the courthouse steps grinning. I wrote, We are happy. I hope you can be happy for us someday. The card came back 11 days later, stamped in red, return to sender. I stared at that stamp for a long time. Then I opened the manila folder, put the card inside, wrote in red pen. Item 2, wedding photo returned. That was the beginning of the binder. Year 1 was the hardest. I called Mom 4 times, voicemail every time. I left messages. Short, careful, the kind where you choose every word because you know it might be the last one she ever listens to. Hi Mom, just calling to say hi. We are doing well. Marcus got a job at a software company downtown. I am studying for the CPA exam. I miss you. Call me back whenever you are ready. She never called back. I sent a card for her birthday, a card for Dad's birthday, a card for Christmas. All 3 came back with the same red stamp. Dad sent 1 text. February, 4 words. Your mother needs time. That was it. No follow-up, no second text. The 4 words sat in my phone like a voicemail I could not delete. Paige posted a family photo on Facebook that spring. Mom, Dad, Paige, Paige's boyfriend at the time, all smiling, captioned Sunday dinner with my people. I was not in the photo. I had never been invited. I printed the screenshot, not to torture myself. I printed it because I had started doing something I could not explain. Filing things. Every returned card. Every unanswered call log. every piece of evidence that my family had decided I no longer existed. I put them in the manila folder, and by March, the folder was thick enough that I transferred everything into a binder. Navy blue, 3-ring tabs. He is not one of us. Her voice played in my head at strange moments in the grocery store, at the dentist, at 2 in the morning when Marcus was asleep and the apartment was dark. I wanted the words to stop hurting. They did not stop, but they got quieter. The binder got thicker. By year 2, Marcus quit his job. Not recklessly. He had a plan. For 6 months, he had been building a prototype on nights and weekends, a compliance platform for small businesses, the kind of software that made SEC filings and financial audits less painful for companies that could not afford a legal team. He knew compliance. I knew finance. Between the two of us, we understood the exact problem nobody else wanted to solve: making regulatory paperwork manageable for companies with fewer than 50 employees. He set up a desk in our garage, 2 monitors, a space heater, and a whiteboard he bought at Goodwill for $12. I came home from my analyst job every evening, heated up leftover soup, and sat next to him reviewing financial models until midnight. I built the pricing structure. I wrote the compliance checklists. I tested every module against real SEC guidelines. Marcus built the engine. I built the dashboard. Neither of us slept enough. Compliance Core launched 7 months later with 4 customers and a free trial that crashed twice on the first day. Snorts. That year, I also did something else. I upgraded the binder. The manila folder was overflowing. Returned cards, voicemail transcripts, one Facebook screenshot, and the original ultimatum letter on stationery. I bought a proper binder, navy blue 3-ring dividers for each year, red pen labels on every item. Tab 1, Year 1, 7 items. I was not building a case. I was not planning revenge. I was doing what I had always done, keeping records because I was a financial analyst, and financial analysts do not throw away documentation, ever. But I did start numbering the items, and I did start writing the date on each one, because numbers do not lie, and neither would I. Liam and Sophie arrived on a Wednesday morning in November. Pounds each. Identical dark curls. Sophie screamed for 4 hours straight. Liam slept through all of it. Marcus cried. I had never seen him cry before. He held Sophie in his left arm and Liam in his right, and stood by the hospital window and said, "They are going to know they are loved every single day." Ka flew in the next morning. She stayed 2 weeks. She cooked, she cleaned, she rocked Liam at 3 o'clock in the morning while I fed Sophie. She brought a blanket she had crocheted, yellow and white, soft enough to make you cry, and a silver bracelet for each baby engraved with their birthdays. That was what a grandmother looked like. I had sent Diane the ultrasound photos 5 months earlier. Returned. I sent birth announcements, 2 cards, one for each twin. Returned. I sent photos. Liam sleeping on Marcus's chest. Sophie gripping my finger. Returned. 3 items added to the binder. Items 13, 14, 15. Paige texted someone we both knew from high school. The mutual friend screenshotted it and sent it to me without comment. Paige's text read, "Her children don't have real grandparents. That is what she chose." I sat in the nursery with that text on my screen for 11 minutes. Sophie was asleep in the crib. Liam was in my arms. I could hear Ka in the kitchen, humming something low and sweet while she washed bottles. My children had a grandmother. Her name was Ka Ellison, and she flew from Cleveland every 6 weeks and never once missed a birthday. I printed Paige's text, filed it. Item 16, red pen dated. By year 4, the binder had 19 items. I want to be clear about something. I did not keep that binder out of spite. I did not flip through it at night, fueling some fantasy of confrontation. Most weeks, I forgot it existed. It sat in the bottom drawer of my desk, behind tax folders and old insurance documents, collecting dust. But every time something arrived, a returned card, a forwarded screenshot, a voicemail transcript I saved because deleting it felt like erasing proof. I filed it, same process. Print, label, date, red pen, tab. Marcus asked me once, "Why do you keep all of that?" I told him the truth. Because someday when the kids are old enough, they might ask why they do not have grandparents on my side. And I want them to have facts. Not my version, not her version. The receipts. He nodded. He understood receipts. He was an engineer. Engineers keep build logs. By then, Compliance Corps had 11 employees. We had moved out of the garage into a real office in the Pearl District. Marcus worked 60 hours a week. I worked 40 at my firm and 20 more on Compliance Corps' books. We hired a part-time nanny for the twins. We ate dinner together every night at 6:30, non-negotiable. The silence from Ohio had become a fact of life, like weather. Some days I noticed it, most days I did not. Ka visited every 6 weeks. The twins called her Grammy. She taught Liam how to make grilled cheese. She taught Sophie the names of every bird in the backyard. I did not know it then, but that binder would become the most important document in my life. More important than my degree, more important than our marriage certificate, more important than the IPO filing I would sign 5 years later. Year 5, 15 employees, a real office with a sign on the door and a conference room with a whiteboard that was not from Goodwill. Compliance Corps was growing, not fast, not flashy, but steady. The kind of growth that does not make headlines but pays salaries and keeps the lights on. Marcus still coded. He refused to become the kind of CEO who stopped building the product. Most mornings he was at his desk by 6:30, headphones on, deep in architecture problems that I did not pretend to understand. I handled everything else. Cash flow, vendor contracts, quarterly projections. The company was his vision. The numbers were mine. We bought our first house that year, a craftsman bungalow in the Selwood neighborhood of Portland. 3 bedrooms, original hardwood, a backyard with a plum tree the twins claimed as their fort. I remember signing the mortgage papers and thinking, this is ours. Nobody gave us this. We built it. Liam started kindergarten. Sophie started kindergarten. They rode the same bus and sat in the same row and argued about who got the window seat. Normal, beautifully, painfully normal. On a Tuesday night in October, I made the mistake of checking Facebook. Diane had posted a family photo from what looked like a Thanksgiving preview dinner. New dining set, Paige and her husband, a baby in a high chair, Paige's son, my nephew. I had never met him. Caption: my whole world. 3 people in the photo. Ababy, a table, a family that did not include me or my children or the man I married. I closed the app, went to bed, did not cry. I had stopped crying about Diana Archer somewhere around year 3. Some wounds do not heal, they just go numb. Paige got married in year 6. I learned about it from Instagram. The photos were beautiful. White church, the same Baptist church where I got baptized at 12, 200 guests, Paige in a cathedral-length veil, Mom in lavender, Dad in a new suit I had never seen before. The reception had a live band, a 5-tier cake, and a sparkler send-off that looked like a movie. They did not invite me. They did not tell me. I found out 4 days after the wedding when a friend from high school posted a group shot with the caption, "Best Wedding of the Year." I zoomed in. My parents were in the second row, smiling, arms around each other. Dad looked thinner. Mom looked exactly the same. I stared at that photo for a long time. Not because I was jealous of the wedding. I had my wedding. 12 people, Thai food, $160 dress, and the best man I have ever known. I stared because they looked happy, and they looked happy without me. I did something I probably should not have done. I ordered a set of handmade linen napkins from a shop in Portland. Ivory monogrammed with Paige's new initials. I wrote a card. Congratulations on your wedding. I wish you and your husband every happiness. Love, Iris. The package came back 3 weeks later. Unopened. I could see the tape was untouched. Item 17. Gift return. Paige's wedding. Red pen. Dated. I put the binder back in the drawer, closed it, sat at my desk, and listened to Sophie singing in the bath and Liam arguing with Marcus about whether dinosaurs could swim. That was my family right there in the next room, and they were enough. Year 7 changed the trajectory. Compliance Corps landed its Series B, $12 million from a venture capital firm in San Francisco. I remember the phone call. Marcus was in the kitchen making pancakes for the twins. His phone rang. He listened, nodded, hung up, turned to me, and said they said yes. I did the math before the pancakes were done. 12 million in funding. Post-money valuation of 68 million. Marcus and I still held 22%. We were not rich, not yet. But the numbers were heading somewhere I had only ever modeled in spreadsheets. I left my analyst job that month and joined Compliance Corps full-time as CFO. It was the first time my name was on the company paperwork next to his. We were partners in everything. We moved to a bigger house, a 4-bedroom colonial in Lake Otsego, 15 minutes south of Portland, good schools, quiet neighborhood, a kitchen with an island where the twins did homework while I reviewed quarterly reports on the other end. The Series B made a small splash in the press. TechCrunch ran a 4-paragraph piece. 2 fintech newsletters mentioned it. Nothing major. The kind of coverage that people in the industry noticed and everyone else scrolled past. But someone in Millfield, Ohio, did not scroll past. 2 weeks after the TechCrunch article, a friend from high school texted me, "Hey, kind of random, but your mom asked me about your husband's company at church on Sunday. She wanted to know what Series B meant. Just thought you should know." I read that text 3 times. Mom had not spoken my name in 7 years. She did not know what Series B meant, but she wanted to. The math was changing and Diane Archer was paying attention. That same year, I sent what I knew would be my last birthday card. I had sent one every year. 7 straight years, 7 returned. Each one filed, each one labeled. But this time, I tucked something extra inside. A photo of Liam and Sophie at their school's fall festival. Matching flannels, face paint. Liam was missing his 2 front teeth. Sophie was grinning so wide her eyes were almost shut. On the back of the photo, I wrote, "They ask about you sometimes. I tell them you live far away." I sealed the envelope, mailed it, expected the usual red stamp. 11 days back in the mailbox. It came back in 9 days. But something was different. The envelope had been opened. The flap was creased. The glue resealed with a strip of clear tape. I held it up to the light. The card was inside. The photo was inside. But someone had taken them out, looked at them, and put them back carefully, deliberately, then sent it back. I sat at the kitchen table and turned that envelope over in my hands for a long time. Someone in that house, Dad, I was almost certain, had opened the card, had looked at his grandchildren's faces, had held the photo, and then someone else, Mom, I was certain, had made him put it back and return it. He wanted to keep it. She would not let him. Item 23, birthday card. Opened and resealed. Photo viewed. Still returned. I wrote the label with a steadier hand than I expected, because I had suspected for years that Dad was not the architect of this silence. He was the enforcer. Mom was the architect. And the blueprint was simple. If she could not control who I loved, she would erase me from the family entirely. Year 8, Compliance Corps was growing faster than either of us expected. 80 employees, offices in Portland and Austin, a partnership with 2 of the largest accounting firms in the Pacific Northwest. Marcus was on the cover of a regional business magazine, small print run, local distribution, but his face was on a glossy cover with the headline, The quiet disruptor. I noticed strange activity on my LinkedIn that month. Someone from Millfield, Ohio had viewed my profile 3 times in 1 week. No name visible, a private browser or a burner account. But the location was right there, Millfield, Ohio. Then, Forbes ran its annual companies to watch list. Compliance scores made it number 47 out of 50. Small mention, 2 sentences, but it was Forbes. I did not think much about the LinkedIn views until a few weeks later when Marcus was invited to guest on a fintech podcast. The episode was 45 minutes, mostly technical, compliance, automation, API integrations, federal reporting standards. Not exactly viral content, but 3 days after it aired, my old friend from Ohio texted again. Your mom told Linda at church that she always knew Marcus was smart. Direct quote. Linda said Diane sounded proud. First time she has mentioned your name in years. Always knew Marcus was smart. 7 years of silence and now she always knew. I did not add that to the binder. It was not a document, it was hearsay. But I wrote it on a post-it and stuck it to the inside cover because I wanted to remember the moment Diane Archer started rewriting history. She was not proud of Marcus. She was not even sorry. She was recalculating. The numbers were getting bigger, and my mother was an accountant of a different kind. The group chat arrived on a Monday. My friend from Ohio, Tess, the one who kept me in the loop about church gossip, called me at 7 in the evening. She sounded rattled. Iris Page accidentally added me to a family group chat. I think she meant to add someone else with a similar number. I was in it for 3 days before they noticed and removed me. I took screenshots. She sent them 7 screenshots. 3 days of unfiltered Archer family conversation. I read them in the parking lot of Liam's soccer practice. Page, his company was valued at $68 million last round. I have been tracking the funding filings. If they IPO, we are looking at $300 million minimum. Diane, how do we approach this? She will not listen to me. Kenneth, maybe I should call first. Feel her out. Diane, no. I need to go in person with a plan. A real plan. Paige, make a list. Be specific about what we need. She is a numbers person. She will respond to numbers. Diane, how much should we ask for? Paige, start with the mortgage, then medical, then retirement. College for my son, monthly support. Layer it. Make it look like family investment, not a request. Kenneth, this does not feel right. Diane, Kenneth, she has more money than this entire town. She can afford to help her family. Kenneth did not reply after that. I sat in my car with the engine off. The dashboard clock read 7:22. Through the windshield, I could see Liam running across the field, chasing a ball twice the size of his head. My hands were shaking. Not from sadness, from clarity. 9 years of silence. 9 years of returned birthday cards and ignored grandchildren, and a cream-colored letter that said, "Do not walk back through our door." And now that the numbers had changed, they wanted to approach with a plan. I drove home, printed the screenshots, filed them. Item 26, family group chat, financial tracking, reconnaissance confirmed. If this story is hitting close to home, if you have ever had someone cut you off and come running back when the numbers changed, drop a comment. Tell me, because I think more of us carry this than we admit. And while you are here, subscribe if you have not yet. I told Marcus that night after the kids were asleep. I showed him the screenshots. He read them once slowly, the way he reads code, line by line, looking for bugs. When he finished, he set the phone on the counter and stared at the wall for a long time. What do you want to do? Nothing yet, but I want to.